One clap swaps your position with a boulder. One word forces your body to obey. And one technique makes its user untouchable for an entire lifetime. Cursed techniques are the engine of Jujutsu Kaisen, the innate ability burned into a sorcerer's body from birth, but they are not created equal. Some need a briefcase blade and perfect math. One of them ended the strongest fight in the entire series. So today, we're ranking the 10 strongest curse techniques in Jujutsu Kaisen, from weakest to strongest, judged on raw power, versatility, and the feats we actually saw on the page. And stay for the bonus, because the technique that secretly broke the whole power system isn't even on this list. Let's begin. Rank 10, Kento Nanami and the ratio technique. On paper, it sounds like accounting. Divide your target with lines into tenths and force a weak point at the 7-to-3 ratio. But here's what that really means. Nanami creates critical hits on demand. Armor, cursed energy reinforcement, a body harder than steel, none of it matters, because the 7-3 point is weak because the technique says so. Powerproof. With a blunt-wrapped blade, Nanami cut through a transfigured human's defenses like paper, and with his overtime binding vow, his output jumps well past his limits after office hours. The weakest technique on this list still turns a salaryman into a special grade killer. Rank 9, Aoi Todo and Boogie Woogie. One clap of his hands and anything with enough cursed energy switches places. Himself, his allies, his enemies, even cursed objects. The power isn't the swap, it's what the swap does to your brain. Every clap might be a swap, or it might be nothing, and after 3 claps, your opponent is fighting a math problem that hits like a truck. Powerproof. Todo used Boogie Woogie to completely overwhelm the special grade curse Hanami alongside Yuji, a curse that tanked entire teams of sorcerers, and later tricked even Mahito, a being made of instinct, into defending the wrong body. Simple technique, genius user, nightmare combination. Rank 8, Toge Inumaki and cursed speech. The Inumaki clan seal turns words themselves into commands. Say sleep, and they sleep. Say run, and their legs move without permission. Say get crushed, and physics obeys. That's why Toge only speaks in rice ball ingredients. A casual sentence from him is a loaded weapon. The cost is brutal. The stronger the target, the more the recoil tears up his own throat. Powerproof. A single word from Inumaki stopped a swarm of curses dead. And when Yuta copied this technique and amplified it through a megaphone, one command, die, wiped out an army of cursed spirits at once. A technique so strong its own user needs cough syrup as ammunition. Rank 7, Choso and blood manipulation. The Kamo clan's inherited technique controls every property of the user's blood. Shape, hardness, speed, even composition. In Choso's hands, it becomes artillery. Piercing blood fires a jet of hardened blood at supersonic speed. Convergence compresses it. Supernova detonates it in every direction. And because Choso is a half-cursed death painting, he doesn't suffer blood loss like a human. His ammunition is effectively infinite. Powerproof. In the Shibuya tunnels, Choso read Yuji's movements, adapted mid-fight, and beat the protagonist of the series nearly to death. The technique scales exactly as far as the body wielding it, and his body cheats. Rank 6, Mahito and idle transfiguration. Touch a soul, reshape it, and the body follows. On regular humans, this is instant death or worse. Mahito turned entire crowds into twisted, transfigured weapons and built an army out of commuters. On himself, it's total freedom. His body becomes blades, shields, wings, whatever the moment demands. Powerproof. This technique permanently took Nanami and broke Yuji's spirit in the same night. And Mahito survived attack after attack because damaging his body means nothing unless you can touch his soul back. The only reason this isn't top 5 is that against soul-touching opponents, the nightmare flips, and Mahito learned that the hard way.
Rank 5, Suguru Geto and cursed spirit manipulation. Defeat a cursed spirit, absorb it into a tiny black sphere, and it fights for you forever. This is the greatest hoarding technique in Jujutsu. Every victory makes the user permanently stronger, and there is no upper limit. Geto walked around with thousands of curses in his pocket. His trump card, Uzumaki, fuses that entire arsenal into a single annihilation blast, and extracts the techniques of semi-intelligent curses in the process. Powerproof. With this stolen body and technique, Kenjaku summoned a swarm strong enough to fight special grades, and used its extraction trick as a 1000-year cheat code. One man carrying an entire army in his bloodstream. Rank 4. The Zenin clan's 10 Shadows technique. Megami's Inheritance. Using shadows as a doorway, the user commands 10 Shikigami, from the Divine Dogs to the Max Elephant. Destroyed Shikigami are gone forever, but their power flows into the rest. And then there's the ceiling. Mahoraga, the 8-handled sword divergent Sila Divine General. A Shikigami no user in history has ever tamed, whose wheel turns and adapts to any phenomenon it survives. Anything. Infinity. Sure hits. Fire. Power proof. Sukuna, wearing Megami's body, used Mahoraga's adaptation as the key to cut the untouchable Satoru Gojo. The 4th strongest technique on this list is the reason the strongest man in the world is gone. Rank 3. Yuta Okkotsu and Copy. When his cursed spirit Rika consumes part of another sorcerer's body, Yuta gains their innate technique, and he keeps it in an arsenal. Read that again. Every enemy he bleeds becomes a new weapon in his pocket. Cursed speech. Uro's sky manipulation. Thin icebreaker. Even Sukuna's own cleave, fired back at the King of Curses inside a domain. Power proof. In the final war, Yuta walked into battle as a one-man army of stolen techniques, backed by a queen-class cursed spirit with near infinite cursed energy. The only limit on Copy is how many monsters Yuta has met, and he's met all of them. Rank 2. Ryomen Sukuna and Shrine. The default attack, Dismantle, is an invisible flying slash. Cleave is its smarter sibling. It reads the target's toughness and cursed energy, then cuts them down in a single stroke, automatically. No hand signs, no wind-up, just chance, and the world falls apart into clean slices. And when slashing isn't enough, Shrine hides a second phase. Open, the Divine Flame, an arrow of hellfire that erases what the blades can't. Power proof. Sukuna dismantled a special-grade curse with a flick, cut a fortified bridge into ribbons, and burned the adapting Mahoraga out of existence with a single fire arrow. This is what the King of Curses actually means, and it's still only number 2. Rank 1. Satoru Gojo and the Limitless. The Gojo clan technique that drags the concept of infinity into reality and hands its user the keys to space itself. Neutral Limitless is the famous Infinity, an infinite series of fractions between you and Gojo's skin, so your attack slows forever and never arrives. He is untouchable while standing still. Blue attracts, red repels at double output, and hollow purple fuses them into a mass of imaginary matter that simply deletes whatever it touches. But here's the fine print. Limitless is only this broken when paired with the 6 eyes, the sensory gift that makes its calculations effortless. Gojo was born with both, the first in 400 years. Power proof. With a fraction of a second of unlimited void and a purple that carved a canyon through Shinjuku, Gojo fought the King of Curses with Mahoraga in play, and it took all of that, plus a technique from outside this list, to finally bring him down. The strongest technique belongs to the strongest sorcerer. It's not close. And now the bonus, the technique that secretly broke the entire power system, the reverse cursed technique. Cursed energy can't heal, it's made of negativity. But multiply a negative by a negative and you get a positive. Energy that regrows arms, restores organs, even reboots a destroyed brain. This is how Gojo survived a slit throat and came back stronger. It's how Sukuna kept fighting through injuries that should have ended him. Healing, in a battle series, is the quietest form of immortality, and almost nobody can do it. The full breakdown of reverse cursed technique, binding vows, and every rule of cursed energy. That's the next file this channel opens. So, do you agree the Limitless deserves number 1? Or does Shrine's kill count beat Gojo's untouchability? And which technique would you take if you could only have one? Drop your picks in the comments, subscribe to Kaisen Anime because the Cursed Energy Rulebook video is already in production, and I'll see you in the next one.